So it makes me think, what happens to like a Lil Wyte when he's 50?
It's like, I need a Twix.
Non-apologetic nonsense.
On and off, I've been thinking about this since we were kids. These artists, like Lil Wyte is the perfect example, who had a period of time that they kind of blew up, but they didn't fully blew up. They blew up to like underground stardom, right? And then they've been able to, I don't want to say ride that wave because he's still making music and he makes good music, but he's never really gotten bigger than he was when he was 20, on 3-6's label. So it makes me think like, what happens to like a Lil Wyte when he's 50? So he's never really had a job. He became famous, at least a signed artist in like his teens. So now you don't, unless like him and Jelly are doing something, you really don't hear much from Lil Wyte, but he is able to get booked. Like we booked him for shows. He's able to get booked all across the country. But to me, at a certain point, that's just gonna go down, right? So what happens when you're 50, the show money ain't enough to pay your bills. You've never had like a real job. Like what happens to a Lil Wyte? What happens to a Jokerr when they're 50?
Try to work behind the scenes. What his skills are at mixing or engineering, editing, all that.
That's a real good idea because he is in that circle of like famous artists, and I think he can hold his own musically, but it's just the fact he hasn't
go from performing to producing.
Yeah, he hasn't gotten those accolades like some of his peers have. So if he could make that pivot into video editing, mixing, making beats, that's actually could be an answer for him, because otherwise I kind of see a dark future for the guy. And I love the guy. I think he's great. He's a funny dude. We were in a hotel one time and he starts telling me like 3-6 Mafia studio or stories of like what would happen when they were recording in the studio, and like Crunchy Black trying to screw him over. And like, he just seemed like a genuinely good guy.
Is this the same time when he broke into our hotel room? Because he needed a Twix.
Oh, I forgot about that.
I'm
not sure if it was, but maybe. Oh, yeah.
What a night.
What even happened?
We're chilling, we're doing something. And yeah, he just comes to the door somehow.
He bangs on the door. Yeah, this was after he had already, I think because I brought this.
We performed and stuff.
Yeah, and I brought the studio equipment down. Yeah. And I can't remember.
Because wasn't it his contract, whatever, like, besides whatever cash you had to pay him? You had to get him like a 24-pack of Coronas or some shit.
Yeah, and like a bottle of like something.
Drank it all before.
I remember earlier in that night, we were going into the venue and he's got his arms full. He's got like beer and his bottle of vodka. So I open the door for him and I go to grab his bottle of vodka and some other things. And he's like... like, I bought it, you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna take it from you. But yeah, so what, he bangs on the door and you could barely understand what the dude was saying.
Yeah, he comes in, he just lays on one of the beds. It's like, I need a Twix.
That's right. So me and him go on an adventure trying to find a vending machine.
Yep. And you come back alone.
Yeah, and then like 2 hours later, we get the phone call from his people looking for him, and he pops up. I thought it
was Chode that called. It's like, hey.
That's what it was, because he pops up like 2 miles down the road at fucking Waffle House.
Yeah, because weren't you guys outside? Just like he just got in the car with like 2 random hoodlums.
That's right. There were 2 gangster-looking dudes, and yeah, I was like, don't leave with him. But I mean, he grown-ass man, And
then, a couple hours later, White's down here making a scene at the Waffle House.
Yeah, and Party's calling me, threatening me because I don't know where Lil Wyte is. And
yeah, I held when we were leaving the next day, I was holding the door open for everybody to get equipment, all that stuff out, going to the cars. And he actually walks by me. He's got some nice-looking fresh pillows in his hand. He walks by, he stops and turns around. He's like, let me give you some advice. You stay at a hotel room. Take a pillow, and you leave that one at the next one. That way you always have a fresh pillow.
Yeah, but that just means I had to pay for his freaking pillow since I paid for the room,
No, he swapped it with an older one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what he told me. He's like, take a pillow, and you leave that old one at the next hotel. That way you always have a fresh pillow.
Anyways. But yeah, so I think about it, because I do see less and less of Lil Wyte now, So I do think, is it worse to be an artist who like works for a long time and isn't able to make it in the industry, or one who makes it in the industry when he's super young, effectively falls off, for lack of a better non-disrespectful term, and then what, has to get a job stocking boxes at 50? Because I couldn't see like Lil Wyte, for example, being a millionaire.
Yeah, but would he still? There's always gonna be people getting his fucking music or whatnot.
Yeah, but it ain't
gonna be an income. Yeah, he's not gonna be.
It ain't that much.
Or whatnot, but and
$1,000 a month or something, you know.
If he's got the skills, it should be, performative producing.
Well, like you're saying, having the skills. So let's switch from like Lil Wyte to like the Joker, right?
See, he'd be good because he does all pretty much his own shit, don't he?
Yeah, yeah. Joker's one of the most talented audio engineers like ever. Like, forget rapper, engineer. I just mean period. He's one of the most talented, but he doesn't really do that much stuff for people anymore. And he had this huge underground buzz, and then he had a couple controversies, and he kind of disappeared. And then he pops back up every once in a while. Once again, I love the Joker. You know, I've worked with the Joker. I got music with the Joker. Joker mixed records for me. I love the Joker, but like he pops up every once in a while, and it's just to kind of ask people for money. For example, I got an email from him, not from, it was like mailing list email, not like personally to me, but it said he just got some band he's working on signed to a multi-million-dollar deal. But if you want to own a part of the company for just $10,000, you can, and it's like, what?
Sounds like one of those Nigerian prince.
Yeah, it just seems kind of weird because, like, to me, Joker should have been like a top dog, but you could always tell Joker was short on money. He would do these weird things where he would sell pre-orders to CDs. Like, it would be like pre-order bundles. You get the CD, a hoodie, or, vinyl, whatever. None of it existed yet, though. He hadn't recorded the first song. All of those shirts and hoodies were just digital mock-ups. And then he would use that money to fund doing the record. But that means people pay for a pre-order and then don't get anything for like 2-3 years. So people started saying, Joker scams his fans and da-da-da. And then that kind of took a turn for him. And he's probably in his 40s. I think he's older than we are. So what does he do? When he spent 20 years, probably has no backup plan, or else he wouldn't be asking people for money. You know what I'm saying? Like, what does a 50-year-old Joker do? Just a Joker? What? He's a normal dude. Because it's weird. It's like for the first half of my life, I look up to the Joker. But then, like, am I going to be in L.A. and see him on Sunset with, like, a little makeshift fort, rapping for Tostitos?
Hopefully not.
And even bigger artists than that, like you could take a Haystak or a Brother Lynch, which both had at least gold records.
I haven't heard from any one of those two.
Yeah, and have completely fallen off. And I couldn't see any world where either of them made enough, or I should rephrase that, kept enough money to actually live out the rest of their lives. So, like, is Brother Lynch going to be the cook at a taco truck?
All of them, I think Brother Lynch was probably the most profitable.
You think so? Haystak, he was car full of white boys, and you were right though. Lynch had Baby Killer and Season of Sickness. What was up with them records he put out on Strange Music though? Those Lynch records.
Yeah, they only put out like 2 or 3.
Yeah, and they were all freaking weird.
Yeah.
It was like his girlfriend broke up with him. He couldn't get over it, and he cried for 3 records straight instead of spitting anything. It was just, fuck you, bitch, I'm going to kill you and get the coat hanger in case you're pregnant, and if you're not, well...
Coat hanger strangler.
Yeah, still going to give it to you. But yeah, that was when I kind of quit listening to him. I heard he got locked up. Oh, you remember Stitches?
Yeah.
So I still listen to Stitches, right? I love Stitches. Yeah. Stitches
breaking your face.
He's still making music, right? So he just had a record come out this week.
I thought he was like dying or something, wasn't
Maybe, but he still got, I don't know, he still got a record coming out. He looks like he's still heavily on that blow.
he? I'm my own supply.
Okay, so check it out. He's got the record that comes out. So he's making this big fuss and he's doing these songs with these MAGA rappers and weird stuff. The MAGA rappers are weird because they'll spit like a verse on Stitches, and then like the last line will be like, I would have burnt the world down if Kamala won. And it's like, what? You know, or what was another one had a line in the Stitches song. He goes, MAGA rappers made $1 million yelling, fuck Joe Biden. And it was weird. But nonetheless, so Stitches puts out all these videos and he's like, hey, new album drops 3 days. New album drops 2 days. This is like last week. And then it's time for his album to drop. So someone else starts posting on his social, like another one of the little rapper kids in his circle. And he's like, Stitches went to jail. You know Stitches. Let's get his album to #1. And immediately people were like, this seems like a Trailer Park Boys level lie, right? Like, you know, J-Rock living underneath the trailer.
Yeah.
So for the last 3 or 4 days, it's like, okay, his album's now #6 on iTunes Top 10. Let's get it to #1 for when he gets out of jail. But every comment below is just like, none of us are buying this. Like, he's definitely at home. You know, he's not in jail. We've called, we've checked, and yeah, so I don't know. But yeah, no, I love Stitches, man. Stitches is great.
Yeah.
Molly Cyrus, and yeah.
Who was the big name he was beefing with? Was it The Game?
The Game.
Yeah.
And Whack.
Walked up on his crew, and then one of his crew just came out and fucking laid him out.
No, it was Whack 100. It was a games manager. Like, he's a dude. You'll see him a lot on like the No Jumper podcast and stuff now. But yeah, he laid Stitches fresh on out. And that was another thing. Stitches made like 10 videos that night of him driving around that club or whatever it was. And he's like, when Game comes out, I'm going to fucking give it to him. Should I use the gun or my fist? I'll let y'all vote. And, you know, and then when he gets out, yeah, the manager just completely mollywops him. But yeah, he's still putting out music. I enjoy it. I think Stitches might have made enough money because he blew up from nothing to just literally one of the biggest artists on the planet for, albeit 6 months, but still, you know.
Yeah.
And he was still, he did like the Rick Ross school where you like make up a completely fabricated past and then you swear by it, you know. I live in mansions because I'm the biggest dope dealer in Miami. You know, that was the same thing Rick Ross did. And it turns out, like, right before he got signed, he was living... Guard. Yeah, he was a corrections officer and, like, living at his mama's house. And, you know, but people like the story and, you know, they like the, I don't know, the bullshit of it. So, God bless him, I guess. I think Stitches will be all right. I don't know why. I think he'll be all right. His face has just gotten more and more tatted. Like, it used to be like a few things and he had the wild hair. Now he's got a shaved head. Everything's tatted. Like, all the way up the head. I believe the ears.
Like, better hopes he makes it then.
Yeah, or he's going to have to start actually living what he raps about, you know. Yeah. Or he's going to be in a tight jam. Did you ever even listen to Haystak?
Not really. I didn't get into him.
Yeah, Haystak's one of them. He was always like a garbage rapper. But like he was one of the first like country rappers. I remember one time we're going to a Haystak show in Carthage, right? And it was out in the middle of nowhere. So I pull up in my car and I got a few other people in the car. And then I see some dude get like thrown right outside of my window. And I look over here and there's another dude running. And then right in front of the vehicle, they're like piling on top of each other. And there's more people running. And it is like getting out of hand. And I just put the car in reverse. Like, it doesn't seem like, it seemed like we showed up too late. Like this is either going to get shut down by police or we're about to see an MURDERER. But yeah, I wish Lil Wyte the best of luck. I think he's awesome. He had one of the best lines ever. What was it? It's I can't remember. He said he's talking about your producer versus my producer type thing. He's like, your producers, or what did he say? Your producers are Fruity Loops loving losers. And yeah, just Fruity Loop loving losers. And yeah, that always stuck with me. Or the Oxycontin, of course. Even though that was even a product of 3-6 because he had only done Oxy once. And then when he woke up from it, he hated it, never did it again. But one of the peripheral 3-6 members was like, nah, that could be your thing. Make a song about how you're a hardcore Oxy user. And then he becomes the Oxy guy who didn't do Oxy. We'll leave you with that.